Hey guys, Stealth here and welcome back to Stormworks. In this episode, which is episode 5 of the tutorial series, I'm going to be building a very cheap makeshift cargo bay. At some point, and this is usually early on in your career, you might have to deliver boxes. Now these boxes are usually about this size. They're a 3x3x3. Unfortunately, the ocean, or the sea, however you want to call it, doesn't always help you. If your boat is bouncing up and down on the waves and those boxes are not secured, then there's a very good chance that they're going to get knocked overboard. Unfortunately though, early in your career, you don't have a lot of parts. And this means that you don't really have a way of securing those containers to the deck. Well, we're going to fix that today. It's, again, a makeshift solution. It's not going to be particularly pretty, but it does work. Here's how you do it. I'm going to have a cargo capacity or cargo hold in the back of my boat. I'm just going to cover this part up. And I want to have this sort of area cordoned off. Let's make it slightly bigger. Depending on how many boxes you need, you can make this as big as you want. And I'm going to cover it up to make sure that those boxes don't eventually end up flying over the rear or flying over the top of the deck. The exhaust can stay, that's fine, it won't really impact me at all. Now, if you'd have nothing covering this opening, then you might get away with it because the boxes by your momentum should be pushed against the rear of the cargo hold. But I'm not going to take any chances. I'm going to set up two connectors. Now, up till now, we've only used the fuel connector. That's the one that we have over here to connect the fuel to your engines. But I'm going to go with a small connector. I'm going to make it slightly bigger on this side, because that will make it a little easier. I want to have a connector on the top. I want to have a connector on the bottom. So here and there. I also want to have two connectors on the other side. There and here. Now I want to have a toggle button over here. And with this toggle button, and of course you hook it up to the power grid before you forget to do so. And this one goes down there. With this toggle button, I want to enable a couple of these magnets. I don't need to enable all of them. I just need to be able to toggle these two on and off. On the other end, I'm going to set up a constant, and this is a constant on signal. It's basically this if you were to leave it on the entire time. Now you can put this thing above decks, below decks, wherever you want it, but for the moment I'm going to go with this, simply because it's easiest. Now, what you need to remember is how much room this part is. How long is this? And here's why. We're going to set up a subgrid to make sure that you can have a sort of gate in place here. So we need to know how long this is. Not this, so not this entire length, but this. It's 4 blocks for me. And it's 4 blocks by 4 blocks. I basically want to set up a gate like this. That's what I want to have. Now, I need to have connectors on these ends. So again, if I were to set up connectors, they would immediately impact this. That won't work. So I need to make it slightly smaller. So it's going to be, I think, about this. There and there. This would fit. Right now it's not letting me do it, but normally it would fit. So it's going to be 2 blocks, a connector, and another connector. Save your boat. Go to a new item, a new vehicle. This is where we're going to be constructing our gate. It was 2 blocks. Then we had 2 connectors. One here, one there. I'm going to set up another 2. And, or no, sorry, it was 4 by 4. So another 2 and another 2 connectors. Save this one as fence, gate, box, whatever you want to call it. I don't really care as long as you can make it work. We're going to go back into our boat. Now you have over here the selection grid. In the selection grid, you can also import vehicles that you have saved. That's what we're going to do. You do that by clicking this, load content. Load a sub-assembly into the selection grid. I want to load the fence. And we're going to be using the arrows to sort of get that in the position where we're going to need it to go. So it's going to be here and 1 or 2 back, like this. You can have it slightly in front of it, that's fine. If you're happy with the placement, just paste it. Hit the paste button, and then it's going to turn red. That means that it's trying to fit another one in there. We don't want that. Turn off the selection grid. Now we have 2 grids in this particular vehicle. We have the base boat, and we have the subgrid. Now, the subgrid is going to be the gate. We're going to go into logic. These constant on signals don't just need to go to these connectors, but also to these connectors. This toggle button, or actually we can also send them here, come to think of it. So all of these are going to be on. These 2 are not going to be on until I say so. Now we're going to go to the electrics, and again, make sure that you hook up this sub-assembly. And now we're going to spawn it in. You heard that little click? That was the assembly of the connectors clicking into place. Here's my gate. Now I can sort of push this thing out of the way. And there are waves rolling over the boat currently. It's because I have a hole over here from the fluid connector. So let's fix that because hold on. Why is that, or why was that missing? Really shouldn't be. Oh, never mind. It's this thing down here. It's a fluid port that apparently died as a casualty here. Okay, fix that back up. Okay, I'm going to have to keep this thing open, but that's all right. I don't mind that. Now my boat shouldn't be flooding anymore. There we go. Okay, so thanks to this always on signal, these connectors are always going to be connected. Unless you manually disconnect them. But let's assume that you're not going to do that. So, you bring over your boxes, you toss them in here. You can even lock somebody in here if you really don't like them. Although they can very easily dismantle that lock, so I wouldn't recommend it. If you turn this on, these connectors are enabled, the ones on the wall. And now, even if I wanted to, I couldn't break this thing. I can try to get in, but it just won't let me. You reach your destination, you want to offload your cargo? Okay, hit this. The door sort of unlocks, swings open, and it is unfortunately not very controllable unless you put a connector, for example, down here and turn that on as a sort of doorstop. And now you can get your cargo back out, and this way make sure that it doesn't wash overboard, bring it out, deliver it to wherever it needs to go, and you're done. Especially if you have small boats, and you do want to deliver cargo without having a whole large superstructure on it. This is a very, very easy and cheap way to do it. Unfortunately, these things can take up a little bit of power. I haven't actually seen them run out of battery life yet, but sometimes they will do it. So try to keep in mind that sometimes this can be a problem. Now, if, for example, you don't like the way that this looks, and you think, well, this is really not the way that I had imagined it, you can go with pipes. You can just go with any sort of sub-assembly that you like. Just make sure that these things stay connected. Otherwise the game might act a little bit irregular about it. Now I have the pipe set up. Lock it into place, and now it's a little bit more easy to see into my cargo compartment. That's how you do it. That is how you have a sweet, cheap, very easy and pretty easy to build cargo bay. When you're going to get later in your campaign or your career, you will unlock a lot more parts that can make your life a lot easier to transport cargo. But for now, this can work. Again, it's a tutorial, so if you have any questions, let me know down below in the comments. Have a question for a tutorial? Get me one down through the comments as well. In the description, you'll find a link to my playlist with other tutorials. And if you have a tutorial that is not listed there, or a request for a tutorial that's not listed there, I'm happy to help. So just let me know down in the comment if you have a particular problem or challenge that you're struggling with in Stormworks that you cannot quite figure out, and I'll try to get it fixed for you. Anyway, that's it for today. Don't forget to like the video so more Stormworks fanatics can find it. And I hope that this cargo bay can help you get your stuff to the destination safely. Thank you for watching. Good luck.